Everyone, hope you're having a great Tuesday. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live, but I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to let you know that we've got thunderstorms rolling in later on tonight, most likely. So far, the storm development has been quiet and also a little bit on the slow end, but just to our east, there are some storms that are developing. So hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. If you got any weather questions, just fire away and let me know what you want to know about. But storms are expected later on tonight. I'm soloing it tonight. Peyton is under the weather. I hope he feels better. Zach is off tonight. Josh is obviously not working in the evening. He's working in the morning. Let's take a look at some stuff. First of all, we'll start you off with, ho, that's not good. So that's not working. All right. Well, I didn't realize that mega Doppler is not working, so we got to work on that. All right, so here's a look at high resolution satellite. There's always something that doesn't work, so I'll have to figure out what's going on there and get that back to connected. But I can't work on it now. There's the thunderstorms that are popping up to our east. There's a little bit of energy. There was a little bit of a differential heating boundary, and that lack of cloud cover was just enough, I think, to get a essentially a little bit of thunderstorm development taking place. What's interesting is you see these clouds kind of moving from east to west. It's an anticyclone from the big complex of storms that was to the north. And that's what all the storm activity that moved through Illinois yesterday. So there's a lot going on there with that complex of storms. But it's an anticyclone, clockwise circulation that allowed for the clouds in the lower levels to move essentially from east to west. A little bit unusual, but then at the same time, you can see some energy that's moving in from the northwest, and there's still more where that came from. I think these are going to be some thunderstorms that develop later on tonight. We'll take a look at that. If you notice, when we started the Facebook Live, here's a look at the severe weather risk. Hey, we got Josh Rugger on here. We also have Josh Weisel. It does feel so gross outside. And by the way, all of that fuel could lead to thunderstorm development. So I'm going to try to go through as much as I can because we do have a 7 o'clock newscast, and yours truly going to be doing that on KXNW. But we're going to have an updated risk at 8 o'clock. I don't think much is going to change. I think thunderstorms are looking likely. We'll show you what you can expect in terms of the future radar activity. But there's the severe weather risk. It's a level 1. The most likely threat from these storms will be gusty winds. We're talking about downburst potential because we have the potential for collapsing thunderstorms, very weak winds aloft that will get a little stronger, but I think we got some rain coming for sure. It is soupy, and that's going to lead to a lot of thunderstorm activity. In case you're wondering, what's the tie for tonight? Got this one on right now. Didn't want to go with the big lightning tie just because we don't have a whole lot of upper level support. We have some, but these storms will not be, let's just say, very organized for a sustained long period of time. So yeah, we'll get some lightning and we'll get some thunderstorm development. But there's a look at the timing. Now, the reason we had 5 p.m., we're already there. But the reason for that is we had storms developing just to the east of us. I'll show you the radar here in just a bit. Gusty winds and hail going to be the predominant threat. So if we look at the individual threats, here's the wind threat, and see that that's low over the entire area. Hail threat, also on the low side. And then you've got the tornado threat that is non-existent. And the reason for that is we just don't have upper level shear. We don't have upper level support. We don't have strong winds aloft. The wind shear is weak. Now, is it a possibility that maybe a storm rotates? It's not always, 0%, but any thunderstorm can actually produce a tornado, but chances are going to be very slim. Hey, we got a new flash flood warning. This is the type of environment that we're going to be under here. This, by the way, is our mega Doppler source, and that's a look from our Gaither Mountain WeatherBug Network camera. I'm going to take that off the screen, but there's a look at the storms that are blowing up to the east. And we'll take that off of there. So there's a look at the storm activity. multiple thunderstorms, nothing severe at the moment. And I think that's because of the lack of upper level support. But as I'll show you, that's going to be on the increase. See all those storms that are blossoming? Look at how they're training too. And on top of that, because there is low winds, meaning not very strong winds, low wind speeds, these storms are going to be moving very slow. So that's just missing the Buffalo River, it looks like. It's close, but it's missing the Buffalo River Basin. Well, maybe it's getting a little bit of it. The lower Buffalo would be. Upper Buffalo, not so much, but you can see Ponca, Jasper, St. Joe. It's very, very close to getting in the Buffalo River Basin. But off to our west, you can see a little bit of upper level energy moving in. There's the upper level spin. We do have a little bit of development starting to pop up over, it looks like that's Johnson County, and then you got Pope County. You've got areas in northeastern LaFleur County. Look at how quickly that died off. So, all right, let's take a look at some future radar. First of all, it is warm and muggy. Look at the temperatures in Fort Smith, 96. It hit the upper 90s today. And then you got the feels like temperature. Look at that. 111 is what it feels like in Fort Smith. That is downright nasty in terms of heat and humidity. And that exceeds excessive heat warning criteria. Look at the dew points in the mid 70s. Grove, don't pay attention to that. That's 81. That's way too high. But the moisture is pooling along a boundary, and storm chances are looking likely. So we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's just to the east of our location. It's southwest of Pocahontas. You can see that severe thunderstorm warning in northeast Arkansas. So starting to see the beginning stages of maybe some pulse storms. There's a look at the boundary that's going to be moving in. This is going to provide some thunderstorm activity. And if we look at the severe weather threat, again, we showed that already. A level 1. The heat needs a Snickers. That's right. You're not you when you're hungry, Josh, which, by the way, I'm hungry and I'm crushing some Funyuns, the hot ones, too, because it is spicy outside. So even though the flooding threat is low, it could be higher if we know where storms are going to develop, because I do think that with slow-moving storms, we're going to have that potential for flooding. And the wind threat is mainly the predominant threat. Hail threat is low as well. So let me take you through the future radar. Look at the explosion of thunderstorms. You can see those anvils are a little bit more defined and just nothing really around here. We'll take a look at the meso analysis, but right now, maybe a little bit of development that's trying to pop up east of Pineville, but it's just not doing it. So the future radar for the HRRR, you can see a little bit of storm development, but then later on tonight, it's been slow to develop, and I think it makes sense, and that's because we need the low-level jet to kick in. So we are going to see thunderstorms. They may not be as much severe as previously thought, but we do have a very ripe environment for severe weather in terms of downburst potential. It's a little less than what it was a couple hours ago. But if we look at the timing of this rain, most likely overnight tonight and into the morning. Yeah, Rebecca, you're going to have more than 12 drops. Again, I'm going to show you that future radar again as I'm going to start off a little wider here, and I'm not going to do that funky zoom. So stand by here. Okay, so here's the wide view. See how everything's kind of quiet? Then we get a little bit of upper level support, storms starting to develop, and then you can see what happens after midnight. So that's when I think things will really start blossoming, and it makes sense looking at the upper level support. Storms in the river valley will be cranking up, and again, damaging winds going to be the most likely threat. This has been delaying a little bit more and more each time. Let's take a look here at ICAST, which, by the way, doesn't have anything except until overnight tonight. There you see it after midnight into the early morning hours. We've already accounted for that, and then watch additional storm development during the afternoon as that wave of energy swings through. Now, the good news is, and you're going to love this, we are going to see a much cooler weather pattern. In fact, a dramatic drop in temperatures that happens on Thursday. So Friday is going to be really nice in the morning, but Thursday afternoon, really nice as well. And even Thursday morning, we got a drop in the humidity. but really drops off Friday morning. So there's a look at temperatures in the lower 80s. That's definitely noticeably cooler. Morning lows still right around the lower to middle 70s. If we do get rain, it would be hard to stay in the mid 70s. I just don't think the dew points will be that high. Then you'll notice that we hover in the lower to middle 80s. So I actually, Josh, dropped the temperatures down a little bit. And the reason that is because we have upper level support that dives in from the north, which allows for storm activity. So here is the cutoff low. This is the weather pattern that's going to be evolving. You can crank on the lights if you want, Brian. So I've just been doing this live update. There's the that's the upper level low that's diving south, and you can see how that kind of churns over our area. Anywhere along and south of that, we have that potential for shower and storm activity. And that's going to be throughout the early part of next week. So definitely a lot cooler. And look at that. Likely cooler than normal conditions. Yes. Morning lows much cooler as well. And that's not only the 6 to 10 day outlook, but the 8 to 14 day outlook. Now, before I leave, I do have the mesoanalysis loaded up, and I just wanted to show you this because I want to show you how ripe the environment is. We're going to have to zip through this pretty quick. But here's a look at the surface-based CAPE, which is nearly 5,000 and over 5,000 over us. And you're like, well, why are we not seeing storms? Because we do have a little bit of a cap. You can see those hatched lines just barely. But if we look at this downdraft CAPE, that's dropped down a little bit because the cooler weather aloft is allowing that temperature to drop off. If we look at this, the upper level winds, you'll see that they're very weak. So that is why, one, those storms are moving slow. But then over time, you're going to see that upper level support kind of dropping in, and that's going to cause additional storms to develop. Heavy rain potential, it's definitely there. We have 1.9 precipitable waters. But if you look at the tornado potential, it's basically non-existent. Very, very, very low. And that's just because we don't have a whole lot of wind shear. If we look at the 0 to 1 kilometer helicity, it's 50, which is nothing. And the 0 to 3 kilometer shear is a little higher, but that's along a boundary. So one last look at Mega Doppler. 30. And we're 30 seconds out, so I got to run. I got to get doing this forecast. So anyways, we'll catch you later. Have a good one. I got to go. I'll do another live update later on this evening. See ya.